Yeah, literally reading Goypill's chat, stressing out about people disagreeing with him, man. You're on the panel, bro. Pay attention to the panel. If you're looking out for yourself, if you just want to protect your ethnicity, it's fine to discriminate. Break up with another man and then got totally mogged. He's never recovered from it. He's playing defense for lefties. He's on a podcast with Pisco. He's being mean to Hutch, so he deserves it. He deserves it. Obviously the case. So, for those who have not been following, there's been a long-running argument in both sort of like the Destiny orbit and more broadly in online politics about moderate libs allying with people like Hassan. Okay, it really is all about Hassan. They try and act like it's about other things sometimes, but it always comes back to Hassan, and basically because of the Israel issue. That's basically what the whole thing's about. And that's been a very long-running argument that a lot of ex and current Destiny orbiters and more broadly libs online have been having. But here, Soypill was initially speaking to Wick, Kraut, and Short Fat Otaku, and it was just those four. But then Destiny and Erudite had to come in and make sure everyone was on track with hating Hassan. Make sure everyone was still Hassan bad. And we're gonna skip most of it because honestly, the first hour or two is not that interesting. But in the second hour of them being on, Destiny just starts going crazy. Destiny and Erudite like totally lose it and say some of the most insane you will ever hear from these people. And I don't mean, you know, like it's like Destiny talking about how conservatives should be in fear after the Charlie Kirk thing. It is like totally incoherent with everything else you've ever heard them say. So we're going to take a look. We're going to just see the sort of ending part of this and some of Soypill's thoughts after and see what we think. See what we think of their arguments here. Let's take a look.
Obamacare to an extent, you know? Just another black creator trying to steal from us whites again.
Sweeper is in the getting L's in chat right now.
True.
They're getting
$5 from
mobbed.
Rodman for the two Canadians.
Wait, how does that? If you think Hassan's rhetoric is expressly anti-Semitic, then even further, how do you justify working with him?
Because the degree to which he perpetuates it is masked enough that I don't think it's the same type of shit that Nick Fuentes is doing.
We're gonna speed through some of this.
It's fucking horrible. It's like, all right, you can, like, every time you call him out for this anti-Semitism, there's a reason why his audience and anyone who is a useful idiot will come and be like, well, actually, I think he's just being a little, you know, anti-Israel here. And
I would just, Soypill is like so close, man. I would just love him to lay out like the times Hassan's been anti-Semitic, you know? I haven't heard him do that. I don't know what we're calling anti-Semitic from Hassan. I figure it's just like the clips of him calling right-wing Israelis inbred. That's probably what they would point to, I would imagine, or they would make some abstract argument about how, oh, he trivializes the lives of Jews by downplaying October 7th, and therefore he's, I don't know, man.
This still spreads like actual real anti-Semitism, I'm sure, to like the same kind of shit you see that Wick was just talking about. It's like, yes, I'll choose. Oh, what? Because I can say this is, wait, because I'm like, this is bad, but it's less harmful than explicit anti-Semitism, it's more masked, like, yeah, like, I'm sorry, it's just not as bad.
I don't even know if Hassan is masking. I'm not gonna lie, every time I tune into that motherfucker's
stream, do you think the anti-Semitism that Hassan does, which he absolutely does, and I'm acknowledging that, is just as bad as Nick Fuentes' is?
It's worse.
It's worse. No, what? No, Nick Fuentes is like, Jews control the world and we need to kill them all. This is, what are you talking about? It's so obviously not the same.
I've never heard, if you can find that, I never Fuentes say that we should kill them all.
Jews, literally, go to the fucking, you know, go to the speech where he's got the big screen behind him and he's talking about we need to like go to war with the Jewish people. Like, what are you talking about?
You understand why it's worse, even if Fuentes did say that. What Hassan is doing is worse because it's normalizing it and masking it, and it's much more.
No, if you think that Nick Fuentes' audience is no, please wait, no, this is insane. If you think that the people in Hassan's audience, even the explicitly anti-Semitic ones, no, answer my question, like, please. This is so stupid. This is so stupid. No, that's ridiculous. It's so stupid. Because no, do you think that Hassan's audience and like per capita is going to be more pro-Holocausting the Jews than Nick Fuentes' audience?
No, I think
no. Dude, Wick saying they would use different words. But yes, he thinks that on average, he thinks per capita, okay, Hassan fans are more likely to want to G the J's than Nick Fuentes fans. They would just say it differently. You are so lost. You are so fucking lost. You are either delusional or lying. And honestly, I think it's the latter. Honestly, I think it's the latter. I think it's just lying. I think all these people are very spiteful, bitter people who feel locked into a very bad position. And they're very jealous of the fact there's this massive content creator that says different things to them and kind of owns them pretty often. And they're mad about it. And so they lie about him. I literally think that's what's happening. I would love to... Soypill seems like he's breaking the conditioning. I would love to hear Soypill's argument for why Hassan's anti-Semitic. Why it's even like... You know, it's laughable to bring up Hassan in the same breath of Fuentes when it comes to anti-Semitism. I'll hear you out. I'll hear you out. Maybe he disproportionately uses inbred for Jews. I'll hear you out on that. Maybe he's playing on some tropes there. Maybe he's playing on some tropes when he calls Asmongold Asmongoy. Maybe he's playing on some tropes there. I'll hear you out a bit there. That's not the same as being an ideological anti-Semite. Nick Fuentes is a full-blown, he is ideologically anti-Semitic. It is a core part of him that there is a war against the Jews, a spiritual war against the Jews that he is fighting. That's a core part of his beliefs. Hassan doesn't think anything like that. Not even remotely. Not even close. You cannot even begin to make the argument.
This is so much worse. I don't care that they're both bad. This is so stupid.
Holocausting it because for the neo-Nazi position is and has been, Jews control all of our country. We want all the Jews out. They are in charge of things like great replacement, etc., etc. But neo-Nazis never follow Jews to Israel. Hassan advocates for a project of the destruction of the state of Israel. He would support military action to do it.
Yeah,
so it's all about Israel. So it's just about Israel. Hassan has no problem with Jews anywhere else. He actually has a problem with the state of Israel. But that's anti-Semitism. Absurd. Totally fucking absurd.
I'm sure Hassan would say nuking Israel is base. This is terrible. He's fucking anti-Semitic. I'm not saying he's good. I'm saying...
Why is that anti-Semitic? Why is that anti-Semitic? Why is that anti-Semitic? Hassan doesn't think nuking Israel would be based, by the way. That's obviously not what Hassan thinks. Let's say he does think full-blown, Vosh, in his element, glass Israel. How is that anti-Semitic? Please explain. Please, I would love to hear it.
This is so much fucking worse.
Go ahead, Crap.
I do genuinely believe that a substantial amount of Hassan's audience are just, they would believe anything that he tells them. That, like, if he told them that the sky is yellow, they would believe it or something like that. I think a lot of his audience are also just lonely, horny housewives, if that makes sense. Like, it's debatable to what extent.
This is so ridiculous. Like, okay, if Nick Fuentes is a neo-Nazi who says Jews have no place in civilization, and you're comparing this to Hassan, who is anti-Semitic, who is conflating Israel and Judaism, and is saying a bunch of horrible shit, and saying these things are worse than what Nick Fuentes is saying. I don't know what fucking reality we live in. This is so much obviously worse.
I don't know why I have to grade it, though.
We don't. They're both bad, but like...
Hassan's the neo-Nazi anti-Semitism doesn't extend past the borders of your country. It's because Jews are interested in destroying whatever the fabric of your country through mass migration or whatever else. But Hassan's anti-Semitism comes from an anti-Western, anti-imperialist place that would follow them to the Middle East, where he would want them to be removed from Israel. That's why you're never going to hear from a neo-Nazi like go back to Brooklyn or whatever else, right? If anything, neo-Nazis would be happy if every Jew fucked off to Israel. Whereas Hassan wants the country of Israel to be destroyed. They think that they literally
neo-Nazis are also anti-Israel.
No, they're anti-America working with Israel.
No, you're thinking of like Christian nationalists that are specifically looking at this, but they're so neo-Nazis fucking hate Israel. Like, what are you talking about?
When you say anti-Israel, Israel, insofar as they exert influence over the United States or force the U.S. to get involved with wars. That's why they say like America first, not Israel first, because Israel thinks it's going to war with
but they also want to kill all the Jews because of that. Like, that's what I'm saying. But why does that matter? If they're like, well, oh, they want if the Jews left them alone, yeah, but they think that the Jews control everything and are evil. Like, what is this distinction?
If we're not drawing a distinction there, then there's even less of a distinction between Hassan's perspective, which is that Zionism is inherently like a, what did he say on CNN, an ethno-religious supremacist nationalist project, like, and 90% of Jews are Zionists, so he would call for basically the elimination of 90% of Jewish people. Like, what did he say?
So let's run that back. Let's hear the steps here.
First, not Israel first, because Israel's making us go to war with
Iran. But they also want to kill all the Jews because of that. Like, that's what I'm saying. Well, why does that matter if they're like, well, oh, they want if the Jews left them alone, yeah, but they think that the Jews control everything and are evil. Like, what is this distinction?
If we're not drawing a distinction there, then there's even less of a distinction between Hassan's perspective, which is that Zionism is inherently like a, what did he say on CNN, an ethno-religious supremacist nationalist project.
It is,
and 90% of Jews are Zionists, so he would call for basically the elimination of 90% of Jewish people. Like, what did he say?
How does that follow? So Hassan says Zionism is an ethno-nationalist, what did he say? Religious supremacist project. Correct. Totally correct. Absolutely true. Uncontestable, inarguable statement that is just absolutely true, definitionally. And so 90% of Jews are Zionists, and so Hassan would call for the elimination of 90% of Jews. Hello? Why did Hassan say anyone who's an ethno-nationalist, religious extremist, religious supremacist, sorry, should be killed? When did Hassan say that? When did Hassan say that, ever? He said, you should not be allowed to hold public office. He said that. He never said you should be killed. Where is that? Please, I would love to see it.
Before, what was it, 2 days ago? He said they should all go back to the Russian Oblast for Jews, like way off in the east. Like,
I don't know. You show me it. I'll grade it. I'll grade it next to the Jews don't belong in Western civilization, and maybe they are evil.
This is why you can't make these gambles, right? So the statement that I just said, right? So like Soypill's chat literally agrees with this, right? How is that wrong? That's true, right? So your chat
Which
even
thing?
agrees with these.
What
with
are
these
they- what are they-
because it is true. Yeah, it's because Soypill's chat on apparently, shockingly to me, honestly, news to me. Soypill's chat aren't totally like buck broken, so that they're able to hear Destiny say a true thing in a straw man voice and say, wait, but that is true. Wait, but you're saying something true right now. Yeah, literally reading Goypill's chat, stressing out about people disagreeing with him, man. You're on the panel, bro. Pay attention to the panel. How did he get away with this for so long, dude?
Guys, what are you agreeing
all
with?
Zionism is an ethno-supremacist, religious supremacist project, and that the state of
Isn't
Israel
Zionism
doesn't exist.
ethno-supremacist?
No, it's not. Only if your understanding of that is a child's notion.
Well, you've read a
somebody
lot
having
more on
country
Israel than
that's
I have,
relatively
so I
supremacist.
can't say, but it
Well, no,
seems to
how
me
is it
that...
it's not saying it's a supremacist is by ethnically protecting a country. It has to be an ethnically supremacist position. That
if
you
you're
can't cash that
if
out
you're
in
an
one sentence.
ethnostate that treats them differently within your society, I would say that's kind of ethno-supremacist, yeah.
No, ethno-supremacist is different than protecting the ethnicity of a country.
But yeah, but
right?
in protecting it, you're expelling another peoples, and your explicit mission is to like get all the Gazans out of the West Bank and the Gaza Strip. This is ethno-supremacist and religion supremacist.
If that, I can't. If that's your perspective, then that's fine.
Well, tell me why it's not. I mean, that's how it sounds to me.
It's not about one religion dominating another. It's about people feeling like they want to protect the ethnic group in their country.
Like Japan.
Yeah, but this is like, oh yeah, they don't want to expel black people. They just want to protect the white population, right? Like you can phrase it that way, but like it seems to me that this is
Wait, but white nationalists do
prioritizing.
want to expel black people.
That doesn't make
Wait,
sense. You
white
don't have to-
supremacists
Yeah,
do want to expel
and Zionists want to expel the Gazans and the Palestinians, right? Like that's
But even
kind of
so,
their whole
you don't
mission.
you don't have to expel black people in the United States. There's no reason for that. They're not a threat to the white people, so it wouldn't make sense in that sense. Whereas
Okay,
for
but-
the Middle East, Jewish people are a huge minority in the
Well,
Middle East.
I mean,
so there's a different
lot
rationale.
Yeah,
of
but now
the-
you're
a lot of
justifying it.
American
But
racists
that doesn't mean it's not
remigrated.
true.
I'm just saying that the desire to protect the ethnicity comes from a different place than ethno-supremacy. It comes from a place of there's an ethnicity that a country wants to protect.
This is a distinction without a difference in me. If you're having
I
a
lean
pro
more-
ethno fucking position and expelling a bunch of people that are not of your ethnicity because like, well it's
We
not
can
because
have
I'm
a-
better than them, it's because they're dangerous
Hold
to
on.
me.
We
Like,
can
oh
have
well,
a- we
black
can-
people
wait,
commit too
hold
much
on.
crime. That's the only reason I want to get them out, guys. Like that's what it sounds like.
There was like,
Okay.
if there was ethnic Jews in Israel, but those ethnic Jews all flipped against Israel and were also like working with terrorist groups to attack Israeli civilians, do you think Israel would want them out in the same way that
Yes,
they want
but
like
I don't
Hamas
think
out?
that disproves what we're saying.
Well,
So, okay, let's run this back.
That doesn't mean it's not
remigrating.
true.
I'm just saying that. If that, I can't. If that's your perspective, then that's fine.
Well, tell me why it's not. I mean, that's how it sounds to me.
It's not about one religion dominating another. It's about people feeling like they want to protect the ethnic group in their country.
like Japan.
Yeah, but this is like, oh yeah, they don't want to expel.
So, dude, that is literally what any white nationalist would say. Destiny has spent years arguing with retards on the kill stream and all this shit about Great Replacement, Warski Live, whatever. Arguing against that shit. And then he just makes the exact same argument for Israel. It is verbatim the exact same argument.
Protecting it, you're expelling another people.
No, it's not. Only if your understanding of that is a child's notion.
Well, you've read a
Somebody
lot
having
more on
country
Israel
that's
than I
relatively
have, so I
supremacist.
can't say, but it
Well, no,
seems to
how
me
is it
that
saying it's a supremacist is by ethnically protecting a country. It has to be an ethnically supremacist position.
Yes.
if you're an ethnostate
Yes.
that purges all non-Jews out of your area and then treats them differently within your society,
It's
I would
just
say that's
yes,
kinda
Soypill.
ethno-supremacist,
The answer
yeah.
is just yes.
No, ethno-supremacist is different than protecting the ethnicity of a country.
But yeah, but
right?
in protecting it, you're expelling another peoples, and your explicit mission is to like get all the Gazans out of the West Bank and the Gaza Strip. This is ethno-supremacist and religion supremacist.
We got there.
If that, I can't. If that's your perspective, then that's fine.
Well, tell me why it's not.
Oh,
I mean,
you've got
that's
no
how it sounds to me.
response.
It's not about.
He has no response. Who is this working on at this point? Who is buying what this fucking idiot is selling at this point? This fucking stupid pervert. It's got to only be Israelis, right? Israelis and Indians. That's all. It can only be Israelis and Indians. They have to want to believe it. Like, who else is buying this, truly?
It's not about one religion dominating another. It's about people feeling like they want to protect the ethnic
Wanting
group in
their own
their
thing.
country.
Like Japan.
Yeah,
That's
but
their-
this is like, oh yeah, they don't want to expel black people. They just want to protect
Yeah.
the white.
And Japan is a racist country. What do you mean?
population, right? Like you can phrase it that way, but like it seems to me that this is
Wait, but white nationalists do
prioritizing.
want to expel black people.
That doesn't make
Wait,
sense. You don't
white
have to.
supremacists
Yeah,
do want to expel.
and Zionists want to expel the Gazans and the Palestinians, right? Like that's
But
kind
even
of their
so,
whole
you don't
mission.
have to expel. You don't
No,
have
it's
to
not.
expel
Okay,
black
yeah.
people in the United States. There's no reason for that. They're not a threat to the white people, so it wouldn't make sense in that sense. Whereas
Okay,
for
but-
the Middle East, Jewish people are a huge minority in the
Well,
Middle
I
East.
mean,
so there's a different
lot
rationale.
Yeah,
for
but now
that.
you're
A lot of
justifying it,
American
but
racists
that doesn't mean it's not
I'm not
true.
justifying it. I'm just saying that the desire to protect the ethnicity comes from a different place than ethno-supremacy. It comes from a place of there's an ethnicity that a country wants to protect.
This is a distinction without a difference.
But, dude, what is the difference? Your ethnicity will disappear if there's too much immigration and racial mixing, right? So, why is it white supremacist for someone in the United States to say, I want to protect my ethnicity. Let's stop letting in so many fucking Mexicans and deport some of them that are here. What's the problem? Well, what is your argument against that now? Because I would just say it's on principle wrong to discriminate along ethnic lines. You shouldn't. People are individuals. You know, you can draw statistical inferences about groups, but you shouldn't hold people personally responsible for the generalities of the group they belong to. They're an individual. Because that's the liberal perspective. I thought that was the liberal perspective. Now, these liberals apparently disagree. These liberals think that if you're looking out for yourself, if you just want to protect your ethnicity, it's fine to discriminate. It's fine to discriminate. So what's your argument against any white nationalist? What is your argument against any white nationalist? How do you even begin to combat that?
To me, if you're having a pro-ethno fucking position and expelling a bunch of people that are not of your ethnicity because, like, well, it's not because I'm better than them, it's because they're dangerous to me. Like, black people commit too much crime. That's the only reason I want to get them out, guys. Like, that's what it sounds like.
Like, for real.
If there was ethnic Jews in Israel, but those ethnic Jews all flipped against Israel and were also like working with terrorist groups to attack Israeli civilians, do you think Israel would want them out? In the same way that they want like Hamas out?
They're literally describing people taking an actual hostile action. And you wouldn't, I don't know how citizenship and stuff works in Israel, but as a liberal, yeah, you should be against someone who's a citizen in the country being like denaturalized and deported for being a terrorist. Yeah, actually, Erudite, as a liberal, you should be against that, you fucking idiot. Yeah, they would want them gone, but it would be principally wrong to... No, they should be given a prison sentence. Right? Fucking idiot.
This proves what we're saying.
Well, potentially in this case, right? They might be willing to like.
They'd be
try
like,
to barter or
oh,
something.
yeah. In the same way, a neo-Nazi would be like, you're a
protectionism,
traitorous
want
white
people
that's
who are
willing to work with the
attacking
minorities, and you've betrayed your country and your peoples. Like, yeah, but I don't think that means they're not ethno-supremacists. Like, this is a very
we can have this
exception.
Israel debate another day.
$5. Well, you have to establish that Jews think that they're better, not that they're like worried about like safetyism.
For
right?
the
Like,
which
that's
they
Canadians.
do in Israel.
So this is
by definition, Judaism is not like it's not a proselytizing religion. They don't even try to convert people into their fucking shit or whatever. Like,
What the fuck, dude?
How is that responsive? How is that responsive at all? Dude, Jews in Israel don't think they're better than anyone else. They don't proselytize. How is that responsive in any way? Sorry, how are you even trying to pass this off as like a refutation?
They're constantly trying to do this shit.
They're not trying to convert people to Judaism.
Literally exactly not that. Birthright is
they want them to come in and
They want people that already belong to the ethnicity to become more religious and become committed to Israel and the Zionist project. That's what they want. That's the conversion they do.
Why they lost all motion and Hassan stocks are rising.
Thank you for the $5, Samson. Thank you. Huge appreciate it. Thank you for the $10, Doobie. Thank you.
I'll never understand how they justify this in their brains. It's like the liberal values they rage at Trump for violating just vanish from
I don't think
memories.
they even bother. I don't think they even bother. I think they just know they're lying at this point, frankly. I literally see no other way to rationalize this.
They try to make them more culturally Jewish and more religiously Jewish.
What do you think? What does the birth part and birthright stand for?
Yeah, I know that they're already Jewish by blood, but they want them to become more religious. That's like, dude, come on, like you're Jew-splaining to me. This is what they fucking do. Yeah, not just join the country. They want to indoctrinate them into the culture and the fucking religion. They do this.
It's not Jew-splaining, it's goy-splaining. They're goy-splaining to you. They're goy-splaining. Destiny getting on stream and fucking goy-splaining again.
All the time.
This is a leftist
They literally
talking point.
no,
Fuck,
dude,
it's
Destiny,
Hassan
please,
talking about.
no,
There's an
no.
example of this.
Don't wanna hear it.
I'm literally,
Don't wanna hear it,
they literally
pervert.
do this. They pay people to go to synagogue in Israel and even here because they want them to become part of this Jewish cultural movement. This is just a thing. I'm not even saying this is a bad thing, but the idea that they're not promoting their religion is just ridiculous. Of course they do this.
The birthright is to bring Jews back to Israel so that they can show up their demographic majority, so that they can absorb more Arabs if they have to.
Yes,
It is.
I'm not disagreeing with this. This is not an either or. This is not either.
Oh yeah, is it, wait. Sorry, it's just. Sorry, they want more Jews in Israel to shore up their majority in case they have to bring in more Arabs? Is that really why they want more Jews in Israel? That's why Netanyahu wants more Jews in Israel. Not because they want to expand. Because they want to expand. Not because they want their country to be bigger and to expand outwards. But because they want to have more Arabs there. Not because they want to kill everyone on the borders and slowly expand with buffer zones in South Lebanon. And no, of course not. Of course not.
They do that. They promote this as well as part of Birthright. They literally promote religious teachings.
Okay.
This is just true. I don't know why you're arguing with this.
Hold on, you guys can debate this another day. $5 from Gronman for the two Canadians. So this is to Dev and to Erudite. Who do you think is more extreme, Hassan or Avi Lewis, the new head of the federal NDP? In terms of
how can he say they don't care about the religion when Jews who convert to Christianity lose access to birth?
Well, obviously they do. Obviously they do. It doesn't make none of it makes any sense. He doesn't care. He's just lying. He's just lying because he's mad that Hassan is winning and he's stuck in a shit position where he's tied himself to an ever more unpopular political position. That's what it's all about. That's what it all is. There is no other way to explain what's happening here.
the policy and how they act.
I don't know anything.
Thank you for the
about
$10,
Avi
Davey.
Lewis.
Huge appreciate
I
it.
know
Thank
that
you.
he's fighting with the Alberta people, but I don't know anything about Avi Lewis, frankly. I can't answer this, sorry. I think I care about Canadian politics.
Well, because to be honest, the NDP is just fucking irrelevant. Hassan is probably more irrelevant than anything happening with the NDP in total.
Yeah, he's probably a bigger existential threat to democracy than Avi. I would assume. I don't know who I don't know anything about it.
Hassan is an existential threat to democracy.
Euros from Avi, from Saxon to say Avi Lewis for the wind. Lex loves Wick? ? Okay. $5 from Straight Shot. Can any of the panelists name an anti-Zionist that also happens to be a liberal?
Tony Judd.
Like, such an absurd question. How badly do you need to have Yankoid brain rot to genuinely ask this question? You have to be legitimately the most American fucking loser in the world to genuinely ask the question. Can you even name a single anti-Zionist liberal? Yeah, like literally everyone outside of your country. Literally every liberal outside of your fucking shit country. Moron.
Anti-Zionist, I think, but it sounds like that's like a poison word now. Maybe I don't fully understand it.
Well, what does I don't like anti-Zionist is a mask word in a lot of ways.
Well, Tony Judd was, sorry to correct myself, Tony Judd was more of a social democrat, but he was anti-Zionist, democratic liberal wing, I guess. I mean, you could take the position that nationalism is
Mehdi Hassan's a tanky because he insulted Destiny on Twitter.
Bad. And in particular, the European liberal position that nationality should become a choice, that what nationality you are should be as simple as learning a language. And from that perspective, you can make an anti-Zionist liberal case, definitely. Yeah.
That was hilarious. I don't know if you guys saw that, but there was like this Twitter exchange where Destiny quote tweets Emma Vigeland saying, "You're not on our team." And then Mehdi Hassan replies, going, "What team is that? Starving Palestinian children to death."
Says for $5, are liberals able to assert that people who immigrate to Western countries should assimilate to the culture of said country, language, beliefs, etc.?
Yes,
preferable.
So. To some level, yeah, I think so.
Yeah, it's just
for,
like
for all the ones that
everyone
don't, their
means when
kids
they say
inevitably do.
assimilate is what a like a MAGA groiper means when they say assimilate, and what a like a left liberal means when they say assimilate is just like obviously not the same thing. So you're gonna
and on that, I have more in common with an illegal immigrant who doesn't speak English but came to California than I do with a fucking MAGA groiper in like Tennessee. So like, it depends on what level of assimilation we're looking for. I think that there should be a place that Jews call their home, given the fact that they're kicked out of fucking everywhere and there's anti-Semitism everywhere. But the idea that the only solution to this is to establish in this historical homeland that is never ever going to be solved, it is constantly going to be having war fought back and forth.
So, yeah, Soypill basically says that Israel shouldn't be in the Levant. That's like his position here, which kind of like pointless to say right now.
This is like obviously what I mean is the project of Zionism to establish it in Israel, and the way that they did this, I think, was destructive as fuck. I think it's led to all these problems. I think they should have chosen something different at the time. And so the idea, what?
When you're saying anti-Zionist, as in you don't want them to be the majority in their country anymore, so then what is that?
Is that what anti-Zionism is? I'm not saying that they can't be the majority unless being the majority in their country.
Zionism is where you have a Jewish majority in Israel because it's an ethno-protected majority. Yes,
if the way that you are establishing this ethnic majority is that you expel minorities and like steal their land and kill people.
So little thing there is I think who uses the retarded definition of Zionism where it's just if you believe Israel in some form should exist? Because Destiny here is saying that it requires the principal commitment to an ethnic majority, right? That's what he's saying. But I feel like, did Lonabox use some other definition? I don't remember.
And I'm anti that.
So no, they've already done that.
They're still doing it.
Hold on, because nobody ever has to answer this question on the level. They say they're anti-Zionist. I know why, but I'm just curious. Like, so what is the solution then? It's the map the cleansing
are you
of
asking
Jews
me
from Israel.
Is the are you giving me a dichotomy between? First of all, the idea that I can solve Israel Palestine is ridiculous because I'm fucking retarded. But second of all, you're asking me no.
Zogbox is back to streaming now. Zogbox is back to streaming. He still hasn't responded to Chud's offer to moderate a conversation. But hey, who knows? Who knows? Maybe he'll respond. Maybe he'll respond.
Me the dichotomy. If you're asking me the dichotomy between what they're doing in the West Bank and Gaza and not doing that, I think there's probably a better thing to do. And just because I don't know exactly what they should do doesn't mean I'm anti-Jew or anti-fucking or I'm pro-ethnic cleansing.
Using it's an ethno-protected majority to avoid saying ethnostate is hilarious.
Yeah. See, enforced ethnic majority is an ethnostate. That's what you want an ethnostate is. Just so fucking stupid.
This is why I hate that the whole leftist people have decided to purity test on this one issue because the position is totally untenable. No, I'm not saying you are, but all the other people that you listen to or that are on the far left that purity test on this position. Like when somebody says they're anti-Zionist, I just don't know what that means. What does it actually?
I'm anti-Israel's project of ethnically cleansing Gazans right now.
Okay. Just
are you?
Answer, I think if they stopped in
Zionism?
Hold on. If
this seems to be in the name of Zionism.
Stopped in the West Bank, but still kept their ratios for how many ethnic Jews are in the country versus how many other ethnicities are in the country, you'd be okay with that?
How do they enforce their ethnic ratios?
By only letting in ethnic Jews and expelling if it goes above a certain amount.
How is Wick arguing he would be okay with this? You're a liberal, you fucking retard.
Ethnically cleansed because there's a hypothetical.
Dude, you're
because the thing
majority of brown people would
is that on a realistic level, that's what would happen.
Ethnic cleansing is necessarily bad. I think we should ethnically cleanse Turkish people from West Hollywood. Personally, I don't think all ethnic cleansing is necessarily bad. They're just like,
okay, wait. To be fair,
so funny.
I know that was a meme, but do you?
Isn't this wretched pervert so funny in how his entire life is dictated by his hatred of this one guy who totally mogged him? The one guy who totally mogged it. He's actually never recovered from this one guy breaking up with him, break up with another man, and then got totally mogged. And he's never recovered from it. It dictates his entire life to the point where he's nuked his political career over it. Well, that and the impulse control issues that led to him sharing his friends' sexual images without consent. Also, obviously, did not help him.
Like, when is ethnic cleansing justified? Like Chinese Exclusion Act type stuff, or oh, we can only have this ratio of like this type of people from this country. Is it ever justified?
Never. Probably is.
It's never justified.
Shut the fuck up. The reason why it's hard to have this conversation as an American is because we get to take our ethnicity, our national identity for granted because we're never threatened by anybody because we have way too many fucking people. So it's not a question for us. But if we had countries to the north, if Canada had 10 billion,
what do you mean? Your ethnic majority is threatened. With enough time, immigration will threaten your ethnic majority. That's just, they're right about the demographic projections, right? When white nationalists say that shit, the fact of the demographic projections, that's true. That's true. The issue is the prescription, but you don't have an issue with the prescription. So what's your issue with it?
people and Mexico had 30 billion people, we would be having questions about what the American ethnicity is and how we need to protect it all the time.
The American ethnicity. What are we saying now, dude?
We just get a bunch more Canadians and Mexicans, and this transforms our country. Then so be it.
Every single person just goes, "I wouldn't care." Okay,
let's say that every single person in Canada, every single person in Mexico was a Nazi, and we lived in the United States of America, and we had 300 million people. Let's say that 500 million Nazis from Canada wanted to immigrate into the United States. You would accept that unquestionably.
I wouldn't promote an ethnic cleansing. No, I wouldn't. And yeah, I think we have a far different problem if you have an ideology so pervasive that it's going to destroy your entire democracy and coming at like people. You're sounding like the fucking people talking about. No. You're talking like the people talking about. Okay, Muslims are coming into this country. Muslims want to destroy the democracy, so we should ethnically cleanse Muslims from Europe. Is that what you're supporting?
We don't have that many Muslims coming here.
There's millions, but there's millions of them. There's tens of millions going to Germany.
Millions is nothing to us.
What about Germany? Should Germany ethnically cleanse Muslims? They're only population of 80
pre-warning
million. But you said it's justified. It's 80 million people. There's 14 million Syrian refugees coming in, right?
It's such a worthless position. You can't even engage critically with the position.
What am I not engaging with?
If there were 10 billion Muslims to the north that wanted to destroy democracy in America, and 500 million wanted to immigrate, I think I would have some questions about that. I think most reasonable people would. We don't have to worry about that. There are 7 million Jews in Israel, in a region surrounded by a billion Arab/Muslims. They do have another question about that. A lot of these Arab majority states literally have their ethnic identity protected in their constitution, but they just don't deal with it much because there's not a billion Chinese people trying to immigrate to fucking Pakistan. You can be against that. Wait, no. Okay. You can be against it, but it doesn't matter that you're against it.
Yeah, it's like
it doesn't cash out into anything. They don't ever have to enforce the ethnic majority of fucking Afghanistan or fucking Pakistan or Iran or Iraq.
Soypill. The law prevents rich people and poor people alike from stealing a loaf of bread, right? That law is obviously going to only affect the poor people in a realistic sense. What you have to engage with and what anti-Zionists have to engage with, and they're, I'm not asking you to solve Israel-Palestine, but if these protections for the ethnostate, and it is an ethnostate, of Israel went away, they would be under massive threat.
Right, and if you're giving me the trolley problem of either support ethnic cleansing or your country is taken over by neo-Nazis, like, yeah, I guess, but like, I don't know.
Like, it's just such an easy thing to reconcile in your head. Just, yeah, I don't think that Israel should just open their borders indiscriminately to anyone in neighboring countries right now. But they should drop the principled commitment to an ethnic majority and move towards a direction where legally everyone's one person, one vote. It's not an apartheid state. No one's getting fucking their houses settled. No one's, getting different punishments under the law. There's not this insane shit like death penalties for only Palestinians and all this crazy shit. Obviously, that's the direction they should move in. They should move away from enforcing an ethnic majority, away from enforcing one-sided rules, and into being an actual liberal democracy that accepts people of all backgrounds. That's obviously what you should say here. What you should think as a liberal. That's easy for you to say. Is your country threatening the majority with bloodthirsty Muslims? How do I answer that question? Do I answer that question seriously or not? Because it's not funny to answer that question seriously.
Know how you map this onto reality when there are potentially infinite solutions in between those of making a project that doesn't involve ethnic cleansing that solves this, and going to extreme hypotheticals of, yeah, if there were 10 billion Nazis in Canada and they're all coming in, well, yeah, obviously I don't want Nazis in my fucking country. This would suck. But the idea that, like, okay, therefore you support ethnic cleansing, it's like, this isn't what we're talking about necessarily. We're talking about specific situations that, okay, go ahead.
You're saying support extreme hypotheticals, like Hamas is not an organization that was supported by Hezbollah, that lived to the north of Israel, that was supported by Iran, that was basically the largest player in the region, that was tangentially, peripherally supported by the Houthis. You're like, hypothetically, like, I can never even imagine this to be the case.
No,
but this is like the
you're
reality.
Saying the hypothetical is either you ethnically cleanse or you die.
No,
that's the hypothetical you gave me, right? Either ethnically cleanse all these Nazis out, or you die, right?
Why are you just filibustering? The hypothetical was, do you protect the ethnic majority of your country, or do you become an ethnic minority and then die? That's the hypothetical.
Okay, so using this logic, should Germany expel all the Syrians?
How many Syrians?
Like 10 to 14 million. and an 80 million.
No, there's a million.
There's only a million. Wasn't it 10 to 14 million over the call of the EU?
No, it's a million.
That's like, I think that's probably the full Syrian refugee crisis number, right? 10 to 14 million, but Germany probably has like a million. I think Soypill's fucking up a bit there. But it's not the point anyway. You can just use Muslims broadly. The argument works, you know. They're not talking about any specific country. Yeah, obviously a lot of it's going to be Palestinians, but there's neighboring Arab countries that Muslims may want to immigrate from. I mean, they probably wouldn't, to be honest. They probably want to stay in their own countries. They probably won't go to Israel. But, you know, theoretically, yeah, 1.5 million. That makes sense.
Wasn't it like 14 million?
You're just saying non-Aryan.
Syria, like the entire Syrian diaspora.
Okay, maybe I'm mixing up the numbers. Let's say it's a million in Germany of a population of 80 million. Is that too many?
Leftist tactic.
No, I was just wrong. I'm admitting that. I got the number mixed up.
Sure.
If it's a million and 80 million, should they start ethnically cleansing them if more and more people are coming and they're subverting the culture?
Just use Muslims. Just talk about how, you know, it's going to be white Germans are going to be an ethnic minority by whatever year. What's the problem with that? What's the problem if Germans want Germany for the Germans, you know? What's the problem with that? They just want to maintain their ethnic majority. What's the problem? They want to protect their ethnicity. Big fucking deal.
No, it won't get to that point because those countries protect their immigration. They don't accept that many people. So they don't get to that point.
And typically people assimilate over time. Like
just look at the demographic projections through race mixing, through immigration. The white native population will become a minority. That's just the case. That is just the case. But what's the problem with that? What's your prescription?
Reason why, like, in part, we're not super concerned about Muslims.
But that's my point, is that it's not a dichotomy between ethnic cleansing and death.
Yes, no, I agree, because they protect their immigration and they dilute it in a certain
Israel.
space and time. Yes.
That's the dichotomy, because for the one-staters, for all the lefties now...
I've never watched this much of Destiny debating. Does he always spug out like this? It's so emotional. Yeah, in the last, like, 3 or 4 years, yeah, this is pretty normal.
And they want Israel to be...
In fact, this is actually quite collected for Destiny these days.
Single state that accepts every single Palestinian as an Israeli citizen, and then all of the diaspora Palestinians as Israeli citizens, so that the Jewish people will be like 30% of the population there.
Okay,
and then they will vote to have a theocracy that will likely want to...
So walk me through this then.
Yeah.
I oppose Israel's ethnic cleansing. I acknowledge that there is a world in which the population gets to a point where Israel would, the Jews in Israel would be ethnically cleansed by the population that hates them that they allowed in. That both of these things are potentially completely plausible, right? Why is it bad for me to oppose the ethnic cleansing if I believe there could be, even if I can't give you the solutions, ways to get around this that are not, let's just keep ethnically cleansing people and support an ethno-supremacist state?
If you have a better solution, I'm all ears.
Well, the issue is that people seem to be hardcore against the Zionist project, so you call yourself an anti-Zionist. Yeah. But then, on the flip side of that, if the anti-Zionists were to have it their way, you'd probably see, my guess is, another like mass expulsion, if not a genocide, then at least some kind of mass ethnic cleansing of the Israel state. But I don't think anybody would be, any of the pro-Palestinian people are not going to stand up to say anything about that. So they're basically just like expelled from their country.
Sure, but this is why it's frustrating, because the Project of Zionism said, we're going to establish this country here, and it caused all these downstream effects that are now putting us in this position. We're in between a rock and a hard place. And I'm saying, this fucking position sucks. I hate that you are now making me choose between ethnic cleansing or not, and death of every Jew, or ethnic cleansing of Israel and all the Jews out of Israel, and therefore I oppose the project that established it this way in such a way
just like it was during the war.
Like,
no one is saying that time. That doesn't mean you opposed the project. That means that you oppose the state of Israel today.
But I still do, because of the way they're doing it. Like, it's like, yeah, I don't think this is like, okay, is the solution just forever we're going to be this, ethnically cleansing thing, and we'll never ever not be at war with everyone around us? Like,
I don't know what the solution is today, but when lefties say that they oppose Israel with their chest. They want to defund it. Maybe they want military action for regime change there. That's their type of opposition. But if Arabs were to become the majority in the state of Israel, and then were to start massively expelling Jewish people, I don't think lefties would have shit to say about it.
Also have a problem with ethnic cleansing. If
Erudite using ChatGPT like Smash, saying stop being PC about Palestine, dude, posting like she's running the Brianna Wu, just saw some Palestinian kids stoning a dog to death tweet through like a ChatGPT and be like, this is what they're like, I saw the October 7th videos. Yeah, you can't stop me, haha. You can't stop me, haha.
If Arabs are the Jews, so
That's fine.
it seems as if the Zionist project right now, though, is
It's just such a horrendous image, isn't it? Brianna Wu, like 6'3", ghoulish figure, just looming over, you know, like the fucking Addams Family, looming over this like, group of like little brown Palestinian kids. They're like fucking like 6 or 7 years old, rags, soot all over their face, rubble everywhere. They're like traumatized. They're like pelting stones at a dog. Disgusting. Just spits at them. Like gets her phone out. Just saw some Palestinian kids stone a dog to death. Savages. Oh my god. It's brilliant. It's brilliant.
And hinging on, correct me if I'm wrong, ethnic cleansing.
They just like look up from stoning the dog. They just shriek and run away. Just shriek and run away. It's the most, you know, they've just survived bombing campaign, seen their families die. Brianna Wu's ghoulish figure is just the most terrifying thing they've ever laid eyes upon. It's like horrors they can't comprehend.
That the what?
The Zionist project necessitates ethnic cleansing right now. It cannot exist without them continuously ethnically cleansing people.
It depends on if you consider the existence of Palestinians.
Like, what type of dog is that?
Technically, it depends right now on an indefinite occupation of the West Bank of the Gaza Strip.
Occupation, ethnic cleansing, kicking people out based on their race.
Yeah, she was in Israel.
Not kicking people out, but keeping them in the West Bank and the Gaza Strip.
Okay.
There's 2 million Arabs that live in Israel proper, that aren't in the West Bank or the Gaza Strip.
Yeah.
That they're not getting kicked out of Israel.
Okay, gang.
Soypill, can I ask you one last question?
Mm-hmm.
If the people wanting to come into your country,
like dude, legit, dude, this image has been sent. Dude. Imagine the fucking Palestinian kids seeing this. Dude, imagine some fucking Gazan kids seeing this shit. What the fuck? They will have no fucking idea what they're looking at. They would have no fucking idea what they're looking at. They were genuinely terrified, genuinely like world shaking. Like, what the fuck is that? Right, Scott just shrieking and running away.
Political power in your country all want to kill you, and if you don't want those people around, is that supremacist?
If you're doing it on a race-based like discrimination thing, like yeah, like yes, but no. If you're just like, hey, well, I don't know. Do we ideologically test people to come in?
What if all of the dominant ethnic groups wanting to move in want to kill you?
So you IDF super
dominant ethnic groups. Is that supremacist?
In this very specific
wait.
That's supremacist? Control?
This is okay. This is huge.
Occupation of the West Bank of the Gaza Strip.
Occupation, ethnic cleansing, kicking people out based on their race.
Not kicking people out, but keeping them in the West Bank and the Gaza Strip.
Okay.
There's 2 million Arabs that live in Israel proper, that aren't in the West Bank or the Gaza Strip.
Yeah.
That they're not getting kicked out of Israel.
Okay, gang.
Soypill, can I ask you one last question?
Mm-hmm.
If the people wanting to come into your country or like have political power in your country all want to kill you, and if you don't want those people around, is that supremacist?
So, literally, this is a liberal saying people are individuals. Actually, they're members of homogenous ethnic groups that have a single-minded focus on one ideology, one religion, to a fundamentalist degree, and they will, and they're all racist, and they want to kill everyone of this other race. Sorry, I thought we were liberals, Erudite. I thought that's what was going on here. I thought that's what this whole panel was a bunch of liberals. That's what I was watching here. Apparently not. It's not the case. Apparently they believe in racial essentialism and think that you can categorize and discriminate in law against people of other ethnic groups, and that's totally legitimate and not principally wrong. So we're just totally fucking lost at this point. Hassan hysteria is at new levels, guys. What's Lonabox's take on this awesome Restore Britain-esque argument? I would love to hear. I'd love to see Lonabox watch this panel and go, the thing lefties just don't understand is Jews are just different to us. They just get to have their own rules, do whatever they want, okay? So you need to just stop criticizing Jews because of the Holocaust. Don't you know anything about the history of Jews?
If you're doing it on a race-based, like, discrimination thing, like, yeah, it's like, yes, but no. If
Stress
just like,
stress.
hey, well, I don't know. Do we ideologically test
What if
people to come
all of the
in?
dominant ethnic groups want to kill you, so you don't want any of those dominant ethnic groups?
So yeah, wait.
Like, discrimination thing, like, yeah, it's like, yes, but no. If you're just like, hey, well, I don't know. Do we ideologically test
What if
people to come
all of the
in?
dominant ethnic groups wanting to move in want to kill you, so you don't want any of those dominant ethnic groups? Is that supremacist?
In this very specific, this hypothetical, technically yes, because by necessity, your race is the one that doesn't want to kill your race, and your race is better, but not in the same way that it's like, I think white people are superior to black people.
Wait, you deciding that your race is better is not them being supremacists. That's kind of you being supremacist, right?
No, but yeah, if you think every other race is awful and they all want to kill me, I'm the good one, then it just by necessity is supremacist, right?
Dev, what did you want earlier? Oh, he muted himself.
I don't even recall anymore, man.
So Soypill's just correct there. Erudite sounds totally fucking deranged, and she's got no response. She has no response. So many times here, Destiny and Erudite are just left with no response. Soypill's just like, no, that is actually ethno-supremacist. And they're like, oh, well, I guess if that's your perspective. Or Erudite just shuts up. Erudite just stops talking. Erudite just shuts down.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay.
Okay, we are gonna wrap this up a little soon because I gotta eat and do a
Oh no, I got it now. I got
ahead,
it back.
go ahead.
Right. Okay. Crowd, I think you know more about this than me, so just fill me in real quick. Wasn't there a project in the Soviet Union to make like an alternate Israel in the far east of Russia?
Well, supremacist is typically referring to like, when they're using it in this context anyway, like, you know, there's ideological supremacists where it's like, I'm better than you. But the way they're using it here is supremacy in like law, right? It's about policy that enforces ethnic supremacy. Now, if a black person says all white people are racist, they're probably racist themselves, but all people are racist, you know? All people are racist. So it's not really saying anything. It's not really saying anything. I am. Nice. Okay.
Oh yeah, that was a failure. That was a
Project to
complete
make them? You
failure.
mean a place where they were all like shooed off to? That they all left as soon as the Iron Curtain fell? I mean, yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, probably.
$5.
No, I recall that they set up
The thing, you mean the thing that we talked about a year ago, so? Because
Maybe.
the thing that I did was like anti-Semitism in communist regimes, and most of what I studied was like Czechoslovakia and Poland.
So, just quickly, there's a final part to this Soypill stuff. Soypill, after that debate we just watched some of, talks to stream chat a little bit and reflects on the arguments he was hearing from Destiny and Erudite. So let's just quickly hear what he's going to say about that.
For productivity, and it's like, okay. But anyway, thanks for being here, Soypill. Appreciate you hopping on.
Love you, baby. Bye.
Dev, last.
All right, guys.
I can't wait until we... Dude, I'm not even reading out the rest of that message. This guy gay as hell.
That was wild. I don't know. I don't know if Destiny and Erudite are just being contrarian, but correct me if I'm wrong. That just felt like... I felt like they were giving me, like, white nationalist-ass talking points, but, like, in defense of Israel. And it's like, okay, like...
So, how is that not just true? Erudite literally sounded like a Restore supporter, man. Literally, she sounded like any far-right loser. Just about Israel. Just about the Jews.
What the fuck? Like, you know, you can be pro, like, I don't want to ethnically cleanse, like, fucking Israel, without saying, like, oh, like, necessity. It's a necessity that we do this or we'll die. And it's like, is it? Are there no other solutions? Can we do nothing else? Like, and if it is, like, we need to do something about it. Like, and it seems like the only prescription is, I don't have a solution. We just have to do this, like, indefinitely. And I don't know, man. No, that's not what I wanted. How do I flip horizontally?
A non-gay man would not hesitate
I don't know how to flip
in
horizontally.
recognizing another man's handsomeness.
Wait, oh, transform.
That wasn't the part of the message that I was calling gay.
Dryan, think about the 5. God, the Zionism, the Dems is so insufferable, supporting a state that violates human rights.
Oh, great question in chat here. Aside from donating, well, you should donate if you can, but you're saying, obviously, you can't, but I'm just reminding people they can. In fact, let's just talk about the way you support me. Guys.
Rights in a far-right ethnostate is misguided. Yeah, and it's like, it's like, oh, if you don't support it, you want to ethnically cleanse Israel, right? Because you realize that, like, by existing there, they're always going to be doing this. I'm like, well, no, I don't want to ethnically cleanse Israel, but I also think the manner in which they're maintaining their state in the name of Zionism is bad. I don't know how to stop that, and I would prefer if there was like more integration. And I think there could be like an idea of a one state with assimilation. And if you're saying that's impossible, then what you're telling me is that it necessitates perpetual ethnic cleansing. And the only way this can stop suffering is if we take a bunch of the people and just move them somewhere else, which is ethnic cleansing. That's like the ultimate final ethnic cleansing, or final solution, if you will. And it's like, I don't think that's good. I don't want to displace everyone from Gaza. I don't want to displace everyone from Israel. So like, what the fuck? What do you do? Look at us when you're talking to us, Soypill. I'm not happy, Destiny. Not happy. As a Destiny fan, he's gone off lately. He's been clever enough to understand the issue, but him constantly saying you're being bad is the biggest red flag. Like, I get that Destiny like doesn't know me, so he's like not sure about
most of what we want. There is one earlier part that I forgot about that we want to see, I think, from this. Yeah. So around here somewhere. So, as part of Destiny's petulant, impotent, flailing, whinging, crying, bitching about Hassan, he decides to get on his fucking high horse and start grandstanding about doxing and bad personal behavior from Hassan, which, obviously, to anyone who's even remotely aware of anything Destiny's done in the last several years, is a completely fucking absurd proposition that you may even struggle to believe Destiny even attempted to pass this off on the stream. But Soypill does pull him up on it a little bit, so let's see.
His personal behavior and everything is deplorable.
Well, I'm going to get into that, but that's less bad for me than the politics, which are like, I think are good, destructive to democracy.
Dude, people hate on Under the Silver Lake, and they're totally filtered. Totally filtered. But look, that's not for right now. It's a finish segment.
I feel like it's less bad. More harassment.
That is easy for someone.
Almost any other.
I'm not saying they're good. I'm saying if I had to pick which of these things is worse, the politics are going to lead to more destruction.
Let Destiny Kraut, then Soypill. Go ahead.
Okay.
I don't know where that statement came from. I'm not saying they're good, right? If I were to say, you know, this guy went to murder your dog to cut his throat, would you say, well, I wouldn't say that behavior? You say no, the behavior is deplorable. I think Hassan has probably been responsible for more harassment for anybody like in the center left sphere than maybe any other single individual.
Yeah, but Destiny, the thing I was about to bring up was like, whenever I appear on screen with you, I get so much shit for all of the accusations against you, the doc stuff, like any and all behavior you participated in the past. And like the thing is, I'm willing to say,
wait, real quick, who do you think that comes from though?
It might be Hassan's community for sure.
Yes,
but
it is. That's the point. You're making my point. Yes, correct.
But how much of these are? I don't know how much of this is legitimate criticism or not. But my issue is, I value your politics and your movement far more than I do potential accusations and how true
really
any of
believe
these
in you,
things
Destiny.
are.
I really
so
believe in you.
The stuff of like, Hassan is a deplorable person.
Fucking
yeah, in a lot of ways, I agree with
these.
this. Like, this is just obviously true. But how much am I willing to use this person in the same way that he's trying to use us to promote my goals? And it's like, if you could show me that this is more harmful to my movement, that's when I change my mind.
Well,
I don't think.
Why is Soypill always wet? He's got no AC.
Hassan. Is that what you're saying?
It's not we're saying that like the personal behavior is bad insofar as like there might be some misgivings about how they conduct their life, whatever. It's that Hassan will directly attack people like in these communities. Like, would you still be willing to work with me if you found out that the mean messages you get when you come on my stream are me messaging my fan base in like another Discord saying like, hey, you guys need to go and harass the fuck out of the Soypill. Fuck.
I honestly would. I honestly like.
Yeah, he would never do that. He would never do that.
In this case, you have to acknowledge when you're having these conversations that you are way outside of the norm and that your opinion is not worthwhile.
I guess, but here's the thing, Destiny. This already happens.
Wait, real quick. Most people will not tolerate that type of behavior. That's an insane thing for the average content creator, politician, or whatever to deal with. Is another huge content creator that is actively, and I don't mean like by way of having a disagreement or whatever else, but is directing their community to directly go and harass another person. That's a really out there behavior.
No, it is. But
wait,
first of all, let me wait. Crowd, I early have to address this. One, Destiny, I already get so many DGGers in my fucking DMs telling me to fucking kill myself, and not because you told them to, by the way. I know that's not it, but just because of like disagreements that you and I might have. But
not because he told them to do it to Soypill, but because he fosters and encourages that behavior broadly, and so they apply it when they see someone that they think Destiny has laid out the conditions for them to apply it to. That's obviously why it's happening, right? Destiny leads by example, lays out exactly how bad these people are and which types of people deserve it. And Soypill falls in some of those criteria because he's playing defense for Hassan. He's playing defense for lefties. He's on a podcast with Pisco. He's being mean to Hutch, so he deserves it. He deserves it. It's obviously the case.
2, like, tell me if this is not true. Have you not doxed people on stream before?
Yeah, people related to Justical?
Oh,
I don't know who
that
or
makes
why.
it fine
It
then.
doesn't matter
Oh,
what
that...
the justification is. My point is that, like,
but Jay Snook, well, that guy is really scary and intimidating and evil. So I understand why people related to Jay Snook you would be doxing. That makes total sense now, actually. Or just say less. Say less. Now that makes total sense. Now that's totally justified. Me when I've suffered a traumatic head injury. Me when I've suffered a severe head injury and will never recover. Yeah, that makes total sense.
you have done things that I would say, I don't think that's okay. And I'm sure you could find examples of me.
Okay.
But I'm not trying to make these things equivalent. What I'm saying is, like, if you're saying, oh, well, now I can never, ever, ever do anything with this person because it's a tacit endorsement of everything they've ever done, whether
No, that's not. No one even said that. No one was making
cool. All right. Well,
It's not about endorsing behavior. It's about collaborating with people that are actually trying to destroy the other people in your space.
Yes.
Like that. Like that's a very simple thing. It's not like somebody said.
Yeah, people related to J-Stalk, aka people who got banned from DGG like 3 weeks ago. Exactly. Literally, your guys, but they just don't like you anymore.
Now you're endorsing other. It's like Hassan will actively try to destroy people in this space. Like you were on not at the same time, but Dylan Burns was on there. Okay, a guy who we've all watched. I think we all are personally friends with, or at least I'm
on good terms with Dylan. Yeah,
right. Yeah. Hassan called this guy a war tourist. Yeah. Okay, a war tourist.
Okay,
dude, Wick sweating right now. Wick literally fucking sweating hearing this. Who knows what I'm referring to? Like 3 people, I guarantee. People don't know this. Wick's first introduction to like many people, to me at least, certainly to most people in Chud's community, was him calling out Dylan Burns. It was him and this other guy. What was his name? Mad Lad TV, I think was his name. Him and this other guy calling out Dylan Burns, saying literally this, that Dylan Burns is a war tourist. That he's just going there to profit and fetishize the suffering of the Ukrainians. That's what Wick said. Wick made that argument, and he's gonna sit here like a fucking bitch, just like, oh, hope no one remembers. Hope no one remembers.
All right, and was regularly roasting.
Okay,
him.
and then why do you think Dylan was on it?
Probably because Dylan had he wanted to talk about the Ukraine issue.
Yeah, and do you think it's better that Dylan went on there and promoted good messages despite the fact that Hassan was on that panel?
You just totally sidestepped what I brought up, though. I'm just saying that Hassan is will personally try to destroy using personal, and not like these are just political.
But the whole thing is you're criticizing me for potentially working with him, which was being on a panel that he was on as well. Dylan was as well. Dylan has even more personal beef because of what you just described, and yet said, you know what? I think I can do more good introducing a liberal pro-Ukraine message, especially with all the anti-Israel shit in that panel. It's like, hey, look, I'm actually talking about other anti-war things that matter, and I think he did more good doing that than he would have if he said, oh, fuck, Hassan was really mean to me. I'm not going on this, right?
Yeah, I want to make it clear. Yeah, but
okay, sorry, I didn't mean to fucking downplay. You know what I mean?
Like maybe I'm separating myself from Destiny here, but I am not criticizing you or Dylan for still working with Progressive Victor. You do what you think is best for your goals and things like that.
And Vic, to be clear, if you can make me a compelling argument of why this is ultimately more detrimental, I will stop doing it.
But just let me finish, right? That's not why I'm here today. I'm not here to deconvert you from Progressive Victory. That's not the point.
So yeah, a lot is about Progressive Victory. Anyway, I think we're about done with it there. I've got all the good parts, really.